the next 24 hours will be what you can imagine. You feel like you don't feel that great. I take that personally, not having our team ready to play in the biggest game of the year. That's something that I pride myself on.
The Suns season ends in blowout fashion once more, this time at the hands of the Denver Nuggets, 125-100. Welcome to the Suns season recap. I'm Eliav Gabay, joined by Jordan Spurgeon. And Jordan, it was another tough one to watch. What did you see?
Yeah, the life got sucked out of the building here at Footprint Center. Early on in the first quarter, it seemed like there was some energy. We saw some early shots from role players. Jock Landale got everybody rolling. Campaign ended up finishing with 31 points, had a really good day, but everything just didn't work out for them. At one point, they trailed 27-26, and then to end the first quarter, the Nuggets go on a 17-0 run. Monty Williams never called a timeout during that period, and it just felt like they were never able to climb back into the game, and that's why they ended up losing by 25.
And Monty took full accountability for the loss, just like he did for the Mavericks loss last year.
I'm just not a blame guy. It's just not my personality. It's not how I was raised, not how I was taught. I'm a no excuses, no explanation person, when it comes to getting the job done. And I have people that I answer to, and they put a lot of trust in me. And when I let them down, it's just part of being a competitor. You want to win, and that's the ultimate goal, is to win. And when you don't, I don't know of any competitor who doesn't look at himself first and try to evaluate so you can be better.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to be gunning for head coach Monty Williams, Jordan, but he's not the man to be mad at, in my opinion. He can be the guy to take this team where it needs to go in the future. You got to remember, this team did not have a lot of time together. The starters only had 8 total games together. More of the issue is with the infrastructure of the roster and the help around Devin Booker and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it a little bit. Obviously, a full offseason, they can build around that. But when you look at this now, this is 3 straight years that Suns were not able to get it done in big elimination games. The finals game against the Bucks in 2021, obviously they blew a 2-1 series lead. Just didn't look competitive despite only losing by 7 in that one. Last year to the Mavericks. And so it's not to say that Monty Williams isn't a coach that can win a championship. But sometimes when these teams are being built and you have these superstars, it needs another step. It needs the next guy that takes the culture a step forward. And I think Monty Williams may still be the guy, but I could also understand if new owner Matt Ishbia wants to move on from him and potentially James Jones as well and get a fresh start and say, listen, we've got Booker, we've got KD for a limited amount of time because of his age. Let's see if we have something even better to work with. I just don't know if there is anything better than what you can get in Monty Williams.
Well, it is fair to say and fair to bring up that Monty Williams is 0-5 in elimination games as a head coach in his career. And when it comes to James Jones, I don't know, man. I kind of want to see what he can do with a full offseason and with a lot of roster flexibility is what it feels like it's going to be this year. Who knows what happens with Ayton, if he'll be traded or not. There is so much in the air. But Kevin Durant also spoke on the infrastructure of the roster.
We got a good foundation, we can build on and move on from this and learn from it and get better from it. But we'll see. I mean, obviously you always want to make tweaks regardless. Whoever win the championship this year, I'm sure they're going to try to add to their team too. So I feel like every year it's the GMs, coaches, players' job is to get better and find ways to adapt and become a better team. So I'm sure we'll make adjustments.
And Spurge, when KD talks about maybe restructuring this offseason, the free agent class is pretty solid. I mean, you got Will Barton, you got Gary Trent Jr., Kelly Oubre Jr. returning to the Valley would light it on fire. There are a lot of good options that could really help this team.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be the path for them. We mentioned earlier Ayton and Chris Paul, potentially the 2 best trade pieces on this team. They don't have first-round picks, so they can trade straight up until 2029. There's a couple swaps in there, 2026 and a couple other years. So the trade market's not going to really be there beyond if they want to make a move with Ayton and Chris Paul potentially in a package. That's $70+ million that would be off the market as well. But the free agent class, the beauty of having Kevin Durant on your team is there are guys that are going to want to come and play less. They might not even be the biggest name guys that are on the market, but they're guys that know how to win. They're good role players. And I think if James Jones is still in place and Monty Williams is still in place, or if it's a new staff entirely in the front office and in the coaching staff, they can finally take an offseason and say, okay, we have Booker and Kevin Durant. What do we need to build around them? And they're going to have those conversations with Book. I know Kevin Durant said his phone is open all summer. He is going to have those conversations. Kevin Durant knows basketball. He's not just a player. Like, he understands the game. He's so passionate about it. And I'm sure he has a thing or two to say about which players he would like on his team in the future. So there's definitely a lot of possibilities in the future. And so the roster that we saw this year is probably not going to be the same next year.
Yep, I would agree with that. And it's going to be a very interesting offseason. Don't forget, the Mercury season starts as well right around the corner. But
they're getting it ready right now.
That's right. That's right. They're literally putting it together as we speak. But for Jordan Spurgeon, I'm Eliav Gabay. This has been Suns 2023 season.